It's about that time. You are about to get highly educated with the Cannabis Closet podcast with CannaQueen and MJ. This is an adult content show with no limitations on subject, language, or actions. Opinions, views, and expressions may or may not be that of the hosts and their subsidiaries and guests. If you are not sure, don't worry, we'll tell you. Or you could just take a good look at our faces. They'll probably tell you what we're thinking. It's time to get this session started. Thanks for rolling up and showing up. Enjoy the show. Yay. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
How's everybody doing today?
Amazing.
Look at MJ on the beach right now in Hawaii.
Jealous of MJ.
Super jealous. What's up? What's up? Thanks for joining us. We have another sextacular show today.
Spectacular.
So exciting. You guys noticed that I just started the show right with our guests. I'm not even worrying about the bringing them in later, none of that stuff. I was like, no, right now. So we have special guests today. Keisha King is back to talk with us about more sex. Yay, more sex. And my very, very good friend Chan Durden is here to also talk about sex. And we're also going to talk about being a doula. So super excited for this show. We have so much good information to share and so much spicy information to share. So we're going to just go ahead and get started. I'm not even going to worry about when you guys get here, you get here. Because if you're missing out on this show, I don't even know what to say about it. I unfortunately missed the Valentine's Day show, and I was watching the playback, and I was I was talking to y'all. I was like, did she just say juicy? And I was like, definitely, she just said juicy. That was awesome.
What exactly was juicy?
We were taught I say we at the Cannabis Closet were talking about they were talking about whether or not the myth is true about whether or not cannabis dries you out.
Okay.
Makes you like, a desert. And I'm going to put in my 2 cents. Absolutely the fuck not. Listen, if I'm interested in you and you interested in me and we like vibing, ain't no desert happening.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
No.
I can honestly say, even when you have dry mouth, what cultivars that happens with, or at least we're starting to realize. I know that I can document which ones I'm like, nope, I'm gonna have to have a bottle ready.
Yeah. Drink
but I can't hydrate. I can't say that what was going on here was the same as what was going on down there. And then once things get going, it shouldn't be a problem. And I think Keisha, you were, kind of went into it. That could be a health problem. It's not necessarily because we're not in the mood. There could be something physical going on. And so that's,
And you would not believe how many people I talk to that never drink a glass of water.
Or eat vegetables.
Or fruit.
You guys. Okay, can I explain something to you guys? Hey, Kelly. Can I explain something to you guys? First of all, the water content in soda is not, it does nothing for you. It's displaced by all of the, it's displaced by all of the sugar and the carbohydrates and the fillers that are in there. Like all of that water gets kind of displaced by that. So just because it's a liquid doesn't mean it's going to hydrate your body. Water is really, really important. And everybody's like, I don't like the taste of water. First of all, don't drink that water.
Yeah.
What do you mean you don't like the taste of water?
It tastes like nothing. If it's
water,
right.
If it's right, it just refreshes your palate and moves on with its life like you will.
Your body should be like, thank you. That's what's gonna happen.
But don't be drinking water from your tap in certain areas.
In certain areas, yeah. Make sure I like even before I give it to my dog. You guys got good water around here? I gotta know. So drink water, even if you have to add fruit to it, you know, that could be a way to help you with the flavor. Don't drink water out of the tap in places like Flint, Michigan, who still don't have clean water. By the way, I just want to make mention of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, drink water. So
I always drink water.
Right.
So yeah, so when she said she's like, you know, she said juicy in reference to that. I lost it. I was like, I am so mad I'm not there right now. What is CannaQueen mad about today? Because she missed the February 14th show. That's what she's mad about today. I actually do have something I'm mad about today. A couple of things that I'm mad about today. So I guess we'll start there, and then I wanted to share a couple of facts that I found on the internets too, and then answer some questions and such. And by all means, everybody contribute. I don't want to be the only one talking here. But what I'm mad about today, I'm still mad about the fact that, did you guys know that Joe Biden is handing out crack pipes and will not legalize cannabis? I am really mad about that, especially because Joe Biden and is it Kamala or Kamala? Because I've heard it pronounced both ways, but I don't want to disrespect her name. But she is Kamala disrespecting my community by getting up on a stage talking about we're going to decriminalize and expunge, and none of that has happened yet. And y'all are handing out crack pipes. That's disrespectful as fuck.
What is the point of handing out these crack pipes? I don't know. I don't understand.
So it's like a what do you call it? It's supposed to be a way to make sure that they're using at least clean materials. It's to not prosecute drug users for having an addiction, because we should not do that.
Are we like 30 years too late on that effort?
Yeah, like right,
I'm
like, and then
for me, start that to begin with.
For me, what's up, Cannabis? I'm glad you caught us too. And also for me, I feel like that it feeds into this narrative that was never true to begin with, and I can't stand it, because where are those crack pipes going? We know where the fuck they're going, right? We know what communities they're going to end up in, and right, they did needles back in the day, and I'm not opposed to like a clean program. I think all drugs should be legalized. I've said that before on this show. Right. I think that all drugs should be legalized and regulated, and there should be a safe space to utilize, and also access to programs to end addiction, and it should be like a social. But anyways, so, but. I have a real problem with two people getting up on a stage and pandering to an entire community about how they're going to decriminalize and expunge, and then they turn around and they hand out these crack pipes, which fine, if that's part of their thing where they want to have clean, safe tools to use, that's fine. I'm not going to be opposed to that. But what I am opposed to is that you're feeding into this narrative in these communities that crack is like a stereotype, like this is a, you know, and it is in homeless communities, and it is in poor neighborhoods, and it is in Black and brown communities. But I want to remind everybody, and you can think it's a conspiracy theory if you fucking want to, but the government introduced crack cocaine to those communities. They did that, and then they prosecuted poor people, Black and brown people, at higher rates than they did white people using the powder shit.
Yep.
And it's in white communities. It's just called something different. And it's different.
Yeah, right.
It's handed out by a pharmacist, you know.
Yes, I am saying that meth and heroin should be legalized. Drug addiction is not a crime. Drug addiction is not a crime. And the reason I think that we should legalize drugs, I think it's Portugal has done this.
Yeah,
You can look at places where this has been done, and what happens is they have resources available at this point, and they also are not spreading disease throughout these communities, and these resources are at their fingertips and free for them to use so that they can get off of these drugs. And you start to see a decline in drug addiction when you have regulated programs like that. There's actual evidence to show that. So yes, I think all drugs should be legal. I think we should not be penalizing people for having addiction. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, so I think it can be done. Definitely the people running the program would have to, really focus on the small intricate details of that. We're talking about it in a large basic way. But what I think is going to happen is, and I feel like it already is happening, is that this crack pipe thing is going to then feed into that narrative, that stereotype, and it fucking pisses me off. It really, really does, because it should have never been a stereotype to begin with. There are plenty of fucking cokeheads that don't have their life together, but they have privilege. And so that's the difference. That's the fucking difference. They have the privilege to not go to jail for having an addiction and being ripped away from their families. And that's why that, the whole fatherless home narrative bullshit. You rip these fathers out of their homes. And we could get into generational trauma too. That's a whole thing too. Anyways, I'm on a diatribe about it, but point being, that pisses me off that Joe Biden thinks it's a better idea to give out crack pipes than to decriminalize these drugs, create a regulated program for these drugs, and expunge the records of nonviolent drug offenders. And also, I always caveat this when I say that part. I mean, if their first offense that landed them in jail was and kept them in jail, like they haven't been released from that first offense, was a nonviolent drug offense, and while in jail they had some kind of criminal offense that they got extra charges for, fuck you. They shouldn't have been there in the first fucking place. If not for you arresting them and ripping them from their families and their homes for a non-violent addiction offense, okay, then they wouldn't have been there to commit a violent offense that you've charged them for. Fuck off. Fuck all the way off.
Agreed.
So
right, and when you really think about it, as far as like resources needed in Black and brown communities and in low income communities, I could tell you crack pipe isn't at the top of the list.
No,
I could tell you that it's access to food,
penny.
access to equitable health care, access to affordable education, access to affordable child care. Crack pipe ain't on the list.
No. And let me address this comment too. Why is CannaQueen mad today is like really getting us into a different topic, but we're going to discuss it. I want to address this comment too. Most people who smoke meth and heroin be killing people. First of all, that is a newsworthy statistic that is not true. Okay. Second of all, when people are put in certain circumstances, violence is sometimes the only option that they turn to. And third, they have an addiction problem to a drug that alters their brain function completely. We need to help them get off of these drugs. I'm not advocating for you to go do meth and heroin. People who don't do meth and heroin are not going to utilize a legal meth and heroin market. They're not going to do that. But people who are addicted to these drugs are then going to have clean access to tools and also resources to break their addiction. And that's why it works.
Yeah,
that's why it works. And we have to stop spreading these negative and false stereotypes that are fed to us by mainstream media and people who want us to fight against each other because this person has an addiction. Do I want to hang out with people who are addicted to meth and heroin? No, and I'm not going to. I'm going to choose not to do that. But I also want them to have human treatment. I want them to have access to clean things, to you know, their addiction right now is their necessity. So the least we could do is make sure that they have clean access, and then it's a step-by-step process. It turns into something else, and there is evidence that this works. There is absolute evidence that this works.
Yeah, there has to be understanding of why we have addictions, why we have, why we get.
I will tell you, your first addiction,
why they go crazy.
Your very first addiction, ladies and gentlemen, it isn't marijuana, it isn't alcohol, it isn't whatever is in a needle that you're putting in your arm, it isn't coke, it isn't crack. Your very first addiction is trauma. Trauma leads to self-medicating, which leads to drug addiction.
Very true.
Why is this person self-medicating? And when we talk about prescription medications, we also have to look at why are doctors prescribing high doses of these addictive drugs and not making sure that their patients are okay and not getting addicted. That's a problem too. So that's one of the reasons why I'm mad. Joe Biden sucks. The other reason why I'm mad today is because also, you know what? I'm not canceling my service, but I would love to teach a class on actual customer service and also cross-training your employees to Spectrum. I really would. 2 weeks ago, as most of you know that watch us on a regular, I spent 5 hours in 3 days on the phone with Spectrum for my modem. I had to replace my modem, and also they were charging us too much, bitches. And then I also was like, hey, can I, upgrade my phone? They were like, yeah, you can. So then I was like, cool. Well, then they sent me the wrong phone, which they made me pay $50 to reshow when I didn't ask for that phone. The second phone they sent me wasn't the right phone either. I'm finally maybe getting the right phone this week. So I got back from my little vacay and my phone still wasn't here. So I had to call them today. Ladies and gentlemen, I have spent 3+ hours on the phone with Spectrum today. I hate y'all. I hate y'all so much. So very, very much. Y'all, it was crazy. I talked to 5 different people today on the Spectrum line at least.
Oh my God.
And at one point, I was talking to this woman in the beginning, and I thought, man, this is good. This is going to be a good day. We're going to get this handled. It's not going to be a problem. And then she transferred me without telling me where I was going, without telling the person she was transferring me to why I was coming there. Nobody knew why I was there. Then that girl transferred me to another person. I had to explain my situation to her, to him. He was like, that's not my department, and transferred me to another person. I was like, I will murder all of you. And then the person who finally helped me with my phone, she goes, you're amazingly calm. And I go, I've smoked 2 blunts during this conversation. And then we started talking about cannabis. And then she told me about some things that were going on with her children. And then I told her about Aiden's Alliance, who will be a guest on our show on March 21st. And they work with disabled children and to help them get resources. And it was a whole great conversation. And then when she transferred me to the next person that I had to talk to before I hung up, she got on the phone with that person and explained everything before I got over there. And I was like, yes, ma'am.
That's how it's supposed to be.
And that's what she said. And when I told her how much they charged me for the phone, because she was charging me quite a bit more, I was like, wait, because this is what she goes, that doesn't even cover the taxes. I don't even know why they would charge you that. You can go to our website and see that that's not what they're supposed to. I was like, okay. But yeah, y'all got like 3 good employees. I was going to say 5. 3 good employees there. That's it.
That's all.
Customer service is not what it used to be anymore.
I just, yeah.
It sucks everywhere except for Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, which is also problematic because of what they support. Like,
oh yeah, exactly.
I mean, I know bigotry tastes delicious, but can y'all just not worry about what's going on in other people's pants and sex lives and love lives? It's none of your fucking business, honestly. It's real life, man. Yeah, but they do have their customer service down to an art. They will come out, take your order, and run it back. And like that, sir and ma'am, Chick-fil-A, if we can take one thing away from Chick-fil-A besides their delicious chicken sandwiches, this is not a plug. They do not pay me, and I would not let them because fuck their politics. But their customer service now, I mean, didn't Hitler create highways? I'm just saying sometimes there's good to be found in bad places.
Listen, when I first moved here to Colorado, I walked into, there's not very many. There's only 2 Chick-fil-A's, and they just happened to be in the area that I was living. And I walked in, I think or maybe it was while I was still in Tampa. I don't remember. But anyway, I was sitting there waiting for my order, and this girl did come in, and she was like, I would like an application, please. And I'm like, sure, no problem. And she's like, I'm gay. Is that going to be an issue? And the manager was like, we don't discriminate. That's maybe a company-wide thing, but our individual store, we respect everybody, and we don't discriminate. And I was like, okay. She handled the question really well. The girl was definitely like looking to spoil for a fighter, but they were
ready.
like, yeah. And they were like, no, we will, we'll totally give you all the opportunities that we would give you if you didn't tell us.
Yeah, well, they can't legally discriminate against her. That's why. If they could legally discriminate against her, though, like, let's just be real, they would be like, get the fuck out. They would. Yeah. I think that they would.
Yeah.
But they can't do that legally. I was right. Yeah, Hitler created a military highway system to be able to transport troops and troop carriers more efficiently. And, he's a real piece of shit, but there's the highway. Thanks, Hitler. In
the same respect, the trail that I hiked yesterday was created by an ATV that took movie stars back and forth from the point A to point B because they didn't want to walk.
I can't stand it.
I can't stand it. The trail was beautifully made and capable. So
nice. You know what I haven't done this whole time is lit my blunt.
I know. I'm gonna hit pan again.
So you guys know that we have show notes now so that we are more efficient and give you all of the information we want to bring you. So it's very, very helpful. I want to do some notes on Black history. So if anybody wants to chime in on anything that they have also, I would love to hear, because I love learning about this stuff because they don't teach you this stuff in school. It's so fucking irritating that I'm learning this at almost 45. I'm not 45 yet. It's almost my season though. So I get so excited when I learn about this stuff because I'm like, why didn't I know this stuff?
It's a shame that they didn't teach us this stuff in school, though.
It's a shame that you're saying like nobody was taught this. Like at least in your community, you should have been taught about your own fucking history. Nope. They take it out of and they're still
our school systems are a part of a much bigger system. Yes. Our teachers don't look like us. Our teachers aren't teaching us about us. So, when sometimes it's brought up that, people who lack knowing our history. It is because in every way, shape, and form we've been cut off from our history.
Yes, it's generational. Same with Native American history. You know, Native Americans were taken from their families and put into boarding schools. Their hair was cut off, and they were refused to allow. They were not allowed to use their native language. And the same goes when slaves were brought over. They were not. I don't want to use that terminology. When enslaved were brought over. Sorry, I just wanted to correct myself. When the enslaved were brought over, they were also ripped from their families. Any impregnated individuals would also their children would be taken away from them. I was just I watch if you guys follow Tizzy ENT he's on TikTok and on Instagram as well. He shares a lot of really good information. But he was sharing some information of if I remember the book, I will tell you what it's called. I'll have to maybe look it up. But he was sharing some information that he was reading in the book. And a lot of people don't know this, but when it used to be that if somebody was arrested for anything, that like a husband and wife were arrested, they would be arrested together and then they would be put in the same jail. So men and women were housed in the same jail. And this is for Black and brown people. So this isn't for I'm not talking about white people. I'm talking about when they were building this prison system that is a for-profit prison system. They built it for profit. Let me explain. When you house men and women together, what's going to happen? The women are going to get pregnant, right? There are going to be rapes in there. There's going to be pregnancy in there, etc. Well, they would get pregnant in prison. They would have their children in prison. They would raise their children in prison because it was the law that the family couldn't be, or like the child that was born there couldn't be released until they were 10. And then the 10-year-old children were trotted out to the stairs of the jailhouse and sold, usually to the guards and the prison employment.
Wow.
What?
I don't even know what to say to that.
I don't know what to say to that either. And I was just like, the fuck?
Holy shit.
That's crazy. So I just told that story in pieces, but go follow. I follow this guy named Chakra Bars on Instagram too. I think you might follow him, Chan, too. Maybe. Yeah. I know a lot of our group does. But he reposted this video, so that's where I saw it was on his page, and I was like watching it like this. I was like, first of all, housing men and women in the same prison, regardless of their marital status or otherwise, is what? And second of all, then keeping the children there, that children are raised in prison till they're 10.
So real quick, I'm sorry to, never mind. I was going to interrupt a serious subject because it was a moment and it flew away. Never mind. Sorry.
It's okay. So that's a moment in Black history. And I have a few others that are a little less triggering, but we warned you that we talk about real shit when we came on. So you've been warned. And this is the thing. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. If this makes you uncomfortable and you look anything like me, be uncomfortable, because this is absolutely this is life. This is generational trauma. This is not that long ago. Mm-hmm. There are people still alive today that remember these things happening. So this was not like when people think about slavery and segregation and things like that, we want to think about it in a historical sense, and we want to think about it as a long time ago. But let me tell you something. Those people throwing rocks at Black children when they were trying to end the segregation in the schools, Those were your grandparents. And that's why they don't want it taught in school.
Yep.
Because they don't want their faces in the history book.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They're still alive. Those people are still alive.
Yes. My mom went to a segregated elementary school. My mom. She's 62, by the way.
So there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, history was not that long ago.
No.
And yeah, we have to remember that and I'm telling you, if you feel in any way uncomfortable about this and you are a white person, I want you to feel that discomfort. I want you to feel it. I want you to live in it. I do. I absolutely do want you that. So we want to celebrate Daisha Taylor. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. Dasia. She invented a new type of suture that would change color if the wound is infected. She won the state science fair and became a finalist in a national competition. And now her sights are set on a patent. And she's only 17. Now, I think I saw this last year, so I don't know that this is necessarily like this year news. But the fact of the matter is that she invented this when she was 17 years old. That's a very, very important discovery.
Right.
Wow. Important invention. So, yay.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I was reading, I wish I could find this article. I was reading that the top three IQs for children are 3 young Black children. I think it was like 1 little girl and 2 little boys were pictured. I wish I had that because I would love to say their names. I'm gonna have to search for that because that's so interesting. And it also, like, I'm about changing the narrative. Y'all hear me loud and clear. We are not going to have that narrative. Nobody is stupid. People don't have access to resources. I mean, I don't want to say nobody's stupid. I met some stupid people, but I've met some educated motherfuckers that are stupid. Okay.
Right.
So
Fact.
yeah. Okay. So this is kind of more in line with the subject that we're going to be talking about today. Did you know that the modern C-section was invented by an African woman centuries before it was the standard anywhere else? Midwives and surgeons living around Lake, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Tanganyika, I think that's right, Tanganyika, and Lake Victoria, that's easier, perfected the procedure hundreds of years ago. When a baby couldn't be delivered vaginally, these healers sedated the laboring mother using large amounts of banana wine. Woo, wine. They tied the mother to the bed for safety, sterilized the knife using heat, and made the incision, acting quickly as a team to prevent excess blood loss or accidental cutting of other organs. The combination of sterile, sharp equipment and sedation made the procedure surprisingly calm and comfortable for the mother. After the baby was delivered, antiseptic tinctures and salves were used to clean the area and stitches were applied. Women rarely developed infections, shock, or extensive blood loss after a cesarean section. And the most common problem reported was that it took longer for the mother's milk to come in, an issue that was solved with friends and relatives who would nurse the baby instead. Oh, that community, that idea of community, I think that's just so beautiful. Like, you're everybody's child. In Uganda, C-sections were normally performed by a team of male healers, but in Tanzania and DRC, they were typically done by female midwives. The majority of women and babies survived this procedure, and when questioned about it by European colonists in the mid-1800s, many people in Uganda and Tanzania indicated that the procedure had been performed routinely since time immemorial. So they don't know when it started. It's just been around forever. This was at a time when Europeans only barely started to figure out that they should wash their hands before performing surgery. When nearly half of the European and US women died in childbirth, and when nearly 100% of European women died if a C-section was performed.
Mm-hmm.
Detailed explanations of Uganda C-sections were published globally in scholarly journals by the 1880s and helped the rest of the world learn to save mothers and babies with minimal complications. So, if you're one of the people who wouldn't be alive today without a C-section, you have Ugandan surgeons and Tanzanian and Congolese midwives to thank for their contributions to medical science. That's pretty fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm. That's fucking very amazing.
You gotta wash your hands. Like, still wash your hands. That's like,
girl, they were struggling. They were struggling not to be sleeping next to their goats. Like,
yeah,
come on
right?
now.
I know.
Come on now.
I know. Wash your hands and drink water is all I'm saying. It will help a lot.
Don't touch your goat and then touch yourself.
Right. Don't do that. That's gross.
Don't do it.
Also, where's that post? I have one more that I wanted to share today. Where did I put that? Dang, I don't know if I can find it, but did you know that the first of all, the Super Soaker was invented by a black man?
Mm-hmm.
And also so was, this is the one I can't find. I thought I saved it, but I can't find it on this list. But also the what do you call it? The little, what is that thing called? The one we had in the 80s. The where you put a little film in there and you could see all the scenes.
Oh, what is that thing called?
Dang it.
You hit the little button and it's the different. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
By a black man. Was invented by a black man. I was trying to find. Yeah, so I was trying to find that, but I don't know where I put it.
Now the modern day one or the old school one?
The picture was of a red. It was like a red one. It was like the one we had in the 80s.
Okay.
So yeah.
Because they had
I wasn't in the party yet. I wasn't there yet. I don't.
The viewfinder. Yeah, the magic viewer. Yes, a black man invented the air conditioner. Also, so we'll have to look some of these names up because we would definitely like to, not just say, "Oh, this happened." Oh, here it is. Here it is. I found it. Oh, it says it couldn't load the post. His name is Charles Harrison. Though, even though it won't let me open the post, his name is Charles Harrison. It says if you had one of these as a child and enjoyed it, then it's time you met its inventor, Charles Harrison. Yeah. So thanks, Charles Harrison, because that thing was dope. I still love it.
One of the things I noticed on that list was that a lot of those things I feel like were invented out of necessity to make lives easier. Just in that they were like, hey, there was a one on there, the woman who invented or perfected the ironing board for so that sleeves and collars could be done more efficiently.
Yeah. I would venture to say, and you can argue with me about it if you want, because I don't have proof about this, but I would venture to say that a majority of inventions and creations that white men came up with during slavery were not invented by white men. Stolen. Full on stolen. Full the fuck on stolen.
Absolutely. Right? And you know what? Like, since we're highlighting like different like Black history, like facts and figures, I definitely I did this earlier this week, but I also want to like pay homage to Dr. Charles Drew, who invented the modern day way of storing blood for blood banks and blood transfusions, and who died April 1st, 1950. From a car accident where he bled out because he was a Black man and they would not take him to the only hospital in town, and the procedure that they needed to do was the procedure that he invented.
Oh wow.
That's some fucking
What was his name again?
Dr. Charles Drew.
Wow.
That's absolutely, I've read so many stories about Black inventors or Black discoveries where those inventions and discoveries would have saved their life and weren't utilized because they were Black. Like, fuck all the way off. Like, I invented it. If anybody gets to use it, it's me first.
Facts.
I can't stand it.
And there's so many different ways that like just that has happened throughout history. Like when you look at like the fundamentals of obstetrician gynecology, like most of that science is based on Black women's bodies, enslaved Black women who were bought, sold, traded to just different scientists who wanted to experiment, and they did these experiments and procedures on them with no anesthesia when anesthesia was readily available, was not expensive. They just did it to torment them.
Yeah.
But then when they made their groundbreaking discoveries or figured out how to do these surgeries or procedures, they stopped doing them on Black people and they only offered them
and
to
they
white
didn't
people.
credit Black people with the
no, never
ever
not ever,
and
because they were property.
Exactly. If you guys don't know about the Tuskegee project, right? Is that what it was called?
Experiment, yeah.
Experiment. Sorry, not project. Experiment. Tuskegee is. I was tripping on my words on that. Please look that up. Black men and women have been used and experimented on. This is the irony. Have been used and experimented on without their permission for the beginning of at least this country, but far beyond that, because racism doesn't end in America, and denied the use of like creations and inventions that they've created and invented. But also, here's the irony: denied. We were told, our people were told that Black people shouldn't use the same bathroom as us because filthy, right? That Black people can't live in the same house, eat at the same table, drink at the same bar as us. But all of the a lot of the medical knowledge that we have today is because of unethical experimentation on Black people. If they are not good enough to eat at our table, then why are they good enough to tell me what's healthy for me? Like, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't make sense to me, how you can tell me that they're different from me, but also the experiment that you did that's going to save my life that you did on this person without their permission. How are we different then? We're not then, you're just saying that to make this divide, right? It's absolutely disgusting. And I actually, on last Wednesday's show, I talked about how enslaved women were given the task of caring for small white children who would then not want to use the same bathroom as them. You were breastfed by this woman and you can't use the same bathroom or eat at the same table as she eats at. It doesn't compute. It's like, what's going on in the brain? I'm going to say this. My family is from the South, and I have some racist motherfuckers related to me. That is not an excuse to act the way you act. You can educate yourself and you can have the conversation that I'm having right now. Because you're a smart human being and you know that that's ugly and wrong and disgusting. Like, I was raised in a racist. Yeah, me too. My grandmother says some shit that I will never repeat. I've said some shit that I will never repeat. Accountability. None of this shit happened that long ago. And it's still happening today. We still have a for-profit prison system filled with fathers, brothers, uncles, mothers, aunts, sisters. For what? For a joint? Y'all, I got pulled over in October with a fucking blunt to my face. And he gave me a fucking warning. You know what he said to me? And I broke all the rules. All the like, don't speak to the cops, don't answer their questions rules. This white girl broke all those rules. He said, "Do you smoke marijuana?" And I said, "Yes." Look at me. This is on the driver's side of my car. Like, yes. I'm not gonna lie. Then he said, "It smells like marijuana in your car. Have you been smoking recently?" What should I have said to that? I should not have answered that question, or I should have said no, but I didn't say either of those things. I said, "Yeah, I had a couple puffs in my house, just right up there." And he said, "You know that it's illegal to drive under the influence of marijuana." And I said, "Oh, I know, I'm not. I'm not under the influence of marijuana. Like,
No.
I'm not impaired." And like, first of all, consumption does not equal impairment. Like, can we all agree to that? So I was like, I'm not impaired. My car smelled like a blunt, y'all. This man gave me his card, said he was letting me off with a warning because the reason he pulled me over is because I have those automatic fucking lights and I didn't turn my headlights on. So it was just my like running lights. And I turned them on right at the light. Like, I noticed it and I turned it on, but he caught me. So that's why he pulled me over. But my white privilege ass had a blunt in my face. Like, he probably saw the smoke come out of my mouth as he was lighting me up. And let me go with a warning.
Must be nice.
I know, right?
Must be nice. If I was not a white,
What's that TikTok? It must be nice. It must be nice.
It is.
I mean,
I'm not gonna say it's not. I'm not gonna say it's not. But I like understand that was my privilege.
Yeah.
Like,
girl,
that
would
never fucking happen if I was not a white woman.
No.
Yeah.
Not even.
I'm not white, but I still have I still have white privileges. You know, I've rolled through, same situation.
Do you know how many people are in jail for what just happened to me?
A lot.
A lot of fuckers are in jail for what just happened to me, and I got off with a fucking warning.
Or for people lying and saying that they smelled it.
The thing is that a little bit, I think Colorado law protected me a little bit because the scent of marijuana is not probable cause. But I absolutely told him I had smoked. I was like, yeah. Like, and there's no reason why I should have told him that. None. That is a big no. We've seen it. You guys seen like the Pot Brothers or whatever, where they're like, shut the fuck up Fridays. Not that day. I was like, yeah, I smoke marijuana. Like, okay, girl. Sure. Whatever. Oh man. Just a real quick shout out to our sponsors. And then I want to answer some questions, and then I want to talk about being a doula after that too. We're going to talk about we had some sexy questions come up on Monday that I wanted to answer, and I couldn't because I wasn't here. So I'm gonna be candid about it. So I got both of our sponsors up here. If you guys like King Palms like I like King Palms, you can get 15% off using the code KPTCCP FEB15. So that's Feb 15. So KP TCCP Feb 15 will get you 15% off on the King Palm website. We're also sponsored by my company, CQ LLC. We are a cannabis consulting and education company. You can find us at www.cq-llc.com. You can also reach out to us, customer service, cqllc@gmail.com, or give us a call, 970-426-5985. Please leave a message if nobody answers so that we will make sure to put you on the top of the list to call you back immediately. We were just approved for responsible vendor training. So if you're in the state of Colorado and you are a delivery driver or hospitality worker in the cannabis industry, definitely give us a call. We can help you out with that responsible vendor training. If you're not in the delivery or hospitality arena, but you still want your staff trained in RVT because it is a mitigating factor in the In the event that you have a violation, an administrative violation, you can give us a call, 970-426-5985. I'll get you connected. I'll send you a demo of what we got going on and make sure that you get signed up for that class. It's really interesting. I'm partnered with Green Flower Media for this. And so if you have your own, have a company and you want your staff trained, say you have 5 staff members, right? But you could buy 10 classes and then you could use those other 5 classes whenever you want. When a new employee comes in, you can pop them onto one of those classes and send them right on through. So it's a really great situation. You can buy the classes in bulk. I definitely recommend that because you're always going to have new employees coming through. So yeah, definitely check us out.
They offer other courses and such
They
that
do.
CQLC is part of as well. So in different aspects, right?
Yeah. Next just made it in and he said he's hating on you. Next, you made it just in time. I'm about to answer some of these spicy ass questions. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I can't see the comments very well.
That's okay. I'll read them. It's fine. Next said he's hating on MJ right now. So I get that. I get it. We all are. Look at that sky behind her in the beach.
Yes, we are.
I've told her to fuck off several times today.
J-Lips jumped onto Discord with me the other day when I was at the top of Sleeping Giant, and so she got to see the 360 view of everything.
Amazing.
So,
amazing.
Yeah. And it's gonna be hard to go back to the snow this trip for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fuck this. There's not even enough to sled in today, so like it's bullshit. All right, you sent me some questions to answer. The first one's a fucking doozy. Like you just like, hey, answer this question.
I know. I just went straight for it.
So she says, so these are some of the questions that you guys talked about on Monday. And Chan, feel free to also answer these questions.
Yeah.
If
I got new info.
Yeah. So the first one is okay. The first one's mild. I forgot that you asked this first one because I just went straight to that second one. I was like, what? Okay. So the first one is, what is your sexy time routine with cannabis? I don't like have a routine for that. I just smoke weed all the time, and I'm a big fan, so I don't always get this this fulfillment necessarily, but sometimes it happens. But I'm a big fan of like smoking in action, and I have this. I'm about to share a fantasy. Okay, so I have this fantastical idea that I should have a bong. This is gonna get trigger warning. This is gonna get spicy. I should have a bong. Right? Like I hit it, right? And then I blow it out. Look, next is like, I'm listening. And then, right? And then, cause you always corner, ladies and gentlemen, if you smoking with somebody else, leave a little bit of green for everybody to hit. Okay. It's just polite. It's etiquette. So like I flip it, right? And then I have the other half for my mate who is behind me, right? Getting in. If y'all are listening right now, I just made the gesture of what he might be doing behind me. It is a gentleman in this scenario, but I could engage and entertain other ideas. So then I light it again, right? And then while I'm lighting it, right? Instant. I feel like I would lose my shit. I would be so turned on. But because I just love including her in really everything that I do. And so that's really an important part of my life for me too. Like I find sex very important to my health and well-being, mentally, physically, etc. And so, yeah, it just, yeah. So I feel like that. But if if I can smoke, I'm happy. If we can smoke, I'm a little happier with that, If I can't smoke, nobody's going to be happy. So like, just like real life. That's real life. I'm just saying. The second question is, do you have a routine that may or may not include cannabis for getting ready. I don't know, because they just legalized in Virginia, so but they still look. My friends get down. I'm gonna tell you now. I know that for a fact.
Well,
I
see,
know,
I don't smoke on a regular basis.
but I know that you have a way to get down if you wanted to. Like, I know that we have ways out
But
there.
okay, see, I'm about to be real vanilla because I have not had sex high.
Oh, I should send you a care package,
You
because
should do that.
they have I didn't say that live or anything, but
Oh no, sorry.
listen, they have this if y'all are into using lubes, I'm going to tell you, guys were talking about lubes a little bit.
Yeah.
There's a cannabis lube.
Yeah, there's a cannabis lube. So
they're kind of new.
If they were talking about it a little bit when the juicy part came on, and I was like, I'm so into this conversation. And so there are cannabis lubes. Okay, so listen, if you do have a dry down there problem, that could be a solution, this cannabis lube. Here's the thing too. Did you guys know that antidepressants and other pharmaceutical drugs can also dry you out down there? So don't necessarily blame it on the cannabis if you're using other types of medications. I was just like, the parts of the show that I did get to catch so far, I'm going to go back and watch the whole thing. There might be another recap on Monday. But what I did catch, so like you guys definitely talked about that. And I was just like, oh yeah, talk about pharmaceuticals, like pharmaceuticals.
I said hormone imbalance.
Yeah. You did. So you talked about a lot of the like different, but those things can cause that to happen. So if you need a little pick me up, there are cannabis lubes on the market. The first one that I was ever introduced to is called Foria. Again, they don't pay me, but fucking fantastic product. If you guys want to pay me to sponsor you, I certainly will, because this product is really amazing. I don't have that issue. If I'm interested and interested, then we got no problems like that. But sometimes I use that because it stimulates, right? So that stimulation, like it intensifies the orgasm or plural orgasms that I am intending to have that evening or morning or afternoon. It is you can ingest it, so you could put it on the places and suck those places dry if you wanted to.
Okay.
But and then you can use it in other sensitive areas too if you want to get down like that. I'm into whatever, not whatever. I can't say whatever. There's certain fluids we can't get down on, but like, I'm not going to kink shame you for whatever you're into, use the lube wherever you want to use it is what I'm saying. Lube it up, but it's so, because it has active cannabinoids in it. So then it's like, it's, the tingle, okay. The tingle intensifies. The throb intensifies. It is indescribable. Like, I love smoking cannabis, and I love smoking cannabis while we fucking, but like I don't know. There's something. I mean, it's the cannabinoids. That's what it is.
I'm intrigued.
Yes. So stand by. I'll be visiting Virginia at some point.
No, okay.
If you don't have here's the thing: is if you don't have a cannabis routine and you want one, we talked about it. There's like from beginning to end of how you can use cannabis in your routine of getting busy.
And as we know,
whether it's smoking, to get rid of anxiety, to go out,
it'll help
relieve any
lessen your social anxiety
before.
Exactly. And we learned last season that there's you guys talked about it on Monday's show too, that there's double digit numbers of types of orgasms that a woman can have. Also, I don't think men are just stuck in that. I know that they're not. That y'all can stimulate yourselves in many different ways to have different types of orgasms, and you should stop
more than once.
and more than one, and you should stop playing into the bullshit stigma and stereotype and let people stick things in your butt is all I'm saying. You will enjoy the fuck out of it. Just a little word of advice when you're ready to try, it's cow position, not cat. You got to cow out. You got to cow out and not cat. Okay? She gonna fall out of her chair. Just start small. They make shit that is like narrow, so you can start slow. But like
It's like
literally,
stretching your ears, people.
y'all have a G spot in your asshole. Listen, I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth. We talked a lot about women and pleasuring women on the last show and on previous shows, but like men also deserve that. Listen, if you're only going to do it once, though, don't come first. You better hold on to all of your muscles. Do what you can. Okay, this went sideways.
Dude, I had a dude that liked it, and I couldn't do it. So I was like, I am not sticking my thumb up your bum. I'm sorry. He's like, I like it. I'm like, well, we're never talking about this because it's not going to be me.
Listen, for every woman that won't stick her thumb in your asshole, there's a woman out there that'll get real freaky with you. So don't even front. Don't even front. And ladies, that goes for you too.
So ask the questions.
For every man that won't put his face in your vagina, there is a man who will eat you like a buffet of all of his favorite foods. It's really true. Actually, for every one man that doesn't want to do that, there's probably like 100 fucking men that are gonna be like, oh my god, fried chicken! Oh my god, I love fried chicken. Biscuits and gravy is my favorite.
Oh, God. Oh.
Okay, the next question. Are you a squirter? And does every woman have that capability or just some? Well, I'm not going to speak for every woman. I am not a scientist or doctor or gynecologist or any of those things. I will say that I have never done that, but also do know that I am capable of doing that because I've been very close to that. And fuck you to the person who got me close and didn't finish it out. I could just feel it. It feels
okay. Felt different.
And it's a little different orgasmically. It's a little different. It feels a little different. It almost feels like you're gonna pee. Listen, you aren't gonna urinate while there's a dick inside of you. That's not what that feeling of urination is. Most likely that you're about to squirt. Most likely. I'm not a doctor. It's just what I think I know.
Your personal experience.
But that's only I feel like I've gotten close maybe a couple of times. And I will say this, that it was probably my fault that I didn't get to full squirt, and because I think when I experienced those things, I was not ready to experience those things. You have to be very, very comfortable sexually with yourself. It's 420. Yeah. Woo, woo. Oh, I missed it by a minute, but you didn't have it on part. Thanks. It's West Coast 420. What's up? It'll be 422 in like 1 minute. So just light it up. Again. So yeah, I think most women could be capable of that. There are some women who have trauma who are not capable. There are some women who are asexual. We have to like keep in mind that not everybody's into penetration, and that's not how they're going to get off. So we got to, work with your partner and figure out what is most sensual for them and what's going to work best for both of you. And that way you guys can have like a really amazing connection and maybe lead to stuff like that, So yeah, I think, but I don't think every woman is maybe capable of that. Could be like hormonal or from trauma or something like that. But I think like physiologically, I think a lot more women than are capable of that than think they are. I don't know. Does anybody have thoughts on that?
I think definitely you got to be in a place mentally to be that comfortable.
Oh,
yeah.
I think that's a huge place. Like even if there isn't, any large trauma that's affecting that, just that mental space, that mental block. But go ahead and share too.
Where's my best friend when I need her in here right now? Because she could contribute to this conversation, Chan. You know she could.
I am not a smoker. It has happened once, and I didn't realize what was going on at the time. I honestly thought I was peeing on myself.
Yeah, you soak the bed for sure.
Oh yeah, I was like, oh my god, I just.
And so I think too, it's a comfortability with your partner, knowing if your partner's going to freak out or not. Like there are definitely, people that freak out about things like that, and they're like, don't know what to do because they haven't experienced it themselves either.
Right.
It's an experience, and yeah, we can both easily freak out.
Yeah.
But we have a rule. We have a rule in my house that you can't shit the bed, but nobody said anything about wetting the bed. So.
But my thing is why if it happened before, why isn't that something that happens on a regular basis?
Because it's
in a certain spot.
I feel like I feel like it's stimulation of certain areas. Also feel like connection is super important too. So I mean, at least for some women, for me, connection is super important when it comes to sex. If I want to be free and wild like that, I need to trust my partner, feel really connected to my partner. I feel like they're going to go there with me.
Yeah.
But if they not, then I'm just going to have a regular orgasm. And if I get off and you get off, then I'm happy with that too. It don't have to be, a porn movie every time. Sometimes I got 15 minutes before I got to go to work. Can you get me off in 15 minutes?
There's a meme like that. It's like, if you had 15 minutes, which position would you choose? And there's 4 positions.
I would choose the position with his face in my crotch. That's the easiest one.
That was one of them. Yeah, that was one of them.
I would have to say personally for me, like I think all the things that I need in order for it to happen are consistent in my life, right? Like I have a partner who I trust. I feel very safe and secure. I'm mentally at that point to where I can let myself be vulnerable, right? But I will say, like, I think that sometimes within our bodies, like we can have experiences and not even realize that it's happening. Because I know one particular time it happened to me and I was pregnant. And I did think I peed on myself. Like that's the only time I've ever mistaken it for peeing on myself. But like now in retrospect, all these years later, I'm like,
y'all, just so you know, it doesn't smell like urine either. It's not urine. It's like literal, it's a fluid, but it's not. Yeah, it's
because I smelled it. Because I was like, "There's no way." Like,
how could I do this?
No way.
How did I just?
I was like in anatomy. They told me this was not physically possible.
Lies.
Right. That's why I said that at the beginning. If you have a dick inside, if you have an object inside of you, you're not urinating right now. That's not happening. Although,
listen, if you're sitting in your car, believe it or not, your bladder is going to hold out for a really long time before your body will be like, yep, just pee on your car, like pee in your car. I experienced that recently. I was like,
although don't say that to a woman who's had children though, because sometimes,
that's true. True.
Sometimes y'all
the wind could blow that way, and it could just be like,
you. Sometimes y'all just cough weird, and it's like you pee yourself.
I have not had children.
That's why pelvic floor health should be readily available.
Yes, pelvic floor health, honey. It is
like it's not right. Like oh my goodness. The fix for it should not be depends. Like I mean, if that's what's going on, like
y'all, it's 2022.
But that shouldn't be what we're pouring into that situation. Like, you don't need a pelvic floor specialist. Just piss on yourself.
and your cute depends, by the way.
Right, and your cute depends.
That's what I was going to say. It's 2022. Why do depends still look like the 1800s? Like, what is happening? Why am I wearing a full
poise is better. It's poise in your pants.
Because the men who make them hate women.
Because the men who make them hate women.
That's why.
That is absolutely
That's
the
why.
reason
They
why
probably
life is
resent
still.
their wives
You know
for
what I
having
thought?
children and now needing them. They're
No,
just mad.
no hate on men. No hate on men. I love y'all. Y'all know I love y'all. But
love them.
I
Yeah.
was wondering
hate
the
them
other
too.
day while I was smoking a blunt, of course, over a blunt. I was wondering the other day. I was like, how are men in so much power? How is a creature who can be taken down with a tap to his nuts
Hmm.
in power like this? Like what? Like you can literally take a man down just by boop. Like,
Mm. That is so true.
Is that a
It's a mind game. It's a
it
mind
is.
game.
It's got,
They
you know, 'cause
they
they've convinced us we're not good enough.
right.
Oh
You don't
Liars.
even need to get that close enough to do the boop, right?
No,
Because you
you
think
can
that
throw a
nothing
ball
can
at
take
it.
them down, right?
A 5-year-old can take a man out,
Mhm.
For real.
and yet they have more power. How?
Mm.
New war tactics. That's like new military tactic. Like just aim for the balls, guys.
Wow.
I was like, wait, I don't know why. I'm like, he said, okay, next, stop talking about it.
He
Stop.
doesn't even want to hear it.
Listen, every man in this feed right now knows the feeling that I'm talking about and just felt it surge through his nutsack.
Yes.
He was like, no, stop
about it.
talking about it. I can feel it.
Mhm.
Well,
But they're in power though.
Right.
your fault.
Interesting.
Ugly thing. And then I don't have a preferred cultivar that I use. I like up cultivars was the next question. Do I have a preferred cultivar strain that I use? He said I got my legs crossed. That's my aim, no pun intended. Oh man. So I don't have a particular strain or cultivar that I necessarily like to use, but I do, you know, it might I don't like to use the word sativa and indica, you know that. But I do use more energetic cultivars if it's daytime, but then at night I'm like, I want to go to sleep after this, so like fuck me to sleep, and so I'll like smoke this like really body relaxing. So it just really depends on the situation for me. I sound like a total nymphomaniac on this show. I am not, no kink shaming if
She's
you
just
are.
a Pisces, y'all. She's just a Pisces.
I'm just
it's
a
all right.
Pisces. I'm very I'm in love with everybody. So if you are in my life in any like essential way, I'm in love with you. It's the way it is. Sorry. Not really. I'm not sorry about it. And if you ever do me wrong, I'll stop speaking to you like you don't exist. But I'll still love you from this distance. And I like sex. I cry a lot. Y'all don't think I do, but I do. I'll never for you. But for my own mental health, sometimes I gotta take a minute. Mm-hmm. And I'm a Pisces. I'm like, if you read about Pisces, that's who I am. Mostly.
I just want to pause and say, like, there is no reason why you should not be comfortable in your sexuality and feel the need to justify anything to us because you are comfortable and aware of where you are at in your sexual journey. And so I just want to tell you, if anybody has
Thanks.
any problem with what you just said or however you come across, fuck them.
Amen.
I'll punch you right in your throat.
Like, don't apologize. Don't apologize.
Yeah, I'm not.
Like
I'm not sorry
that,
for who I am.
and that is, and I think again that is one of the things that have like us as women, like that they weaponize against us, right? Like our sexuality. Like I think as Black women, they make us feel like overly sexualized. And I
Yes.
think, like, I mean, obviously I don't know the struggles of a white woman. I've never been a white woman, but I am sure that as the primary mate of the white man, you probably have your own trauma with your sexuality too.
Mhm.
I definitely do. I feel like I'm coming to term. Okay. Listen, traumatized women out there, listen up. You are a victim and also a perpetrator of your shit. So I have held this belief in my brain, even though I never really believed it, like somewhere in here, there's this like stigmatized belief that women who sleep around are sluts and whores, and men who sleep around, it's okay for them, but it's like not okay for us. And so then I start seeing, like, first of all, eating detergent aside, y'all have advanced Gen Z, and I'm proud of you. For bringing these things to light, because women in general are raised with this idea that we should be quiet and we should be clean and we should be submissive and we should be obedient and we should hold out on having sex on the first date, because if we do that, that makes us a slut. But like, by the way, the man having sex with you is also having sex on the first date. The fuck? Like, what's the difference besides the fact that you got a penis and a mythology in your head that if I sleep around, that my vagina is the size of a hallway? And
Yeah.
if
Oh God.
if your dick is not hitting my walls, that's not my fault. That's your genetics. That's not my shit.
That's your character.
That's
flaw.
your shit, because that shit's a myth. This bitch stretches.
I'm just joking, men out there. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you.
And
you know,
back.
they
She's
know. They
expandable.
know.
Yeah.
The vagina is a powerful, beautiful muscle. It stretches very wide and then it goes right back down to where it used to be, and it's very powerful. It's
You
beautiful.
can push a watermelon out of something the size of a fuck. It literally starts the size of a coin.
Yes.
You could push a full watermelon out of that by the end of the whole situation, and then go back to the size of a fucking coin.
Like nothing happened.
Beautiful. Fuck off with your slut shaming out there. Like, you're a slut too. If you slept with me on the first date and I slept with you on the first day, well, so are you.
Oh God.
What if there was a myth out there that if you sleep around as a man, your dick gets smaller? And
they'll stop sleeping around.
And that's why you can't hit the walls.
They will stop sleeping around.
I imagine.
Oh God, that would be hilarious.
Wouldn't it be great?
Yes.
It shrinks a little bit every time you sleep around. You lose a little bit of dick mass.
That'd be great.
You don't know how it's gonna come either. No pun intended. Actually, full pun intended. You don't know either. You don't know. It's gonna be shorter or it's gonna be skinnier.
Right.
You don't know. It's gonna be.
You don't know where the mouse is gonna be taken from.
Don't know.
That's great.
And the woman you sleep with, her ass gets a little bit bigger, and so does his. That size you lost, we took it.
We took it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Right along with the energy.
I love it.
I'd be like, no, I'm a C cup right now. I'm good, baby. I'm a C cup right now. I'm good. I don't need no more.
Perfect.
He said, "Burr, it's cold in here. It shrinks up." It's like, how are you in power, dude? How are men in power when your dick just goes, "Oh my God, it's cold," and runs inside? Like, what the fuck is that?
Real life questions, though.
Real life questions. It's crazy.
Right.
Ladies, we could control much more if we realize the Achilles heel is actually in his pants. I'm just saying. We wanted to, okay, we're this is a Wednesday show, but it's a long Wednesday show, and I knew it was going to be, because we don't want to just talk about sex. It's fantastic, but I actually want to talk about being a doula and the history of doulas. And like, we just learned that the history of a cesarean section came from African communities, and that Europeans failed at this every time they did it, 100% of the time. So I think that really connects with what I wanted. I wanted to learn more about doulas. I want to know more about what you guys do to prepare your patients, I don't know what you call them, your clients. And then where did this practice come from? Do we know? Do I'm asking questions. I don't know the answer to that one.
So I mean, I think you asked a lot of really good questions there. I Chin, would you like to go for it? I mean, I would love to hear like your whole your background with it and all that good stuff.
you put me on the spot.
Of course
well,
we are.
They've seen me, they've heard me. I've been here a few times.
Yeah, for sure.
Damn it.
So tell us about your background, Chan, and then we'll get into it. Yeah.
Well, okay, so I am a birth doula and a hypno doula. And
tell me what that second thing is.
Okay, so a hypno doula is what there is something called hypnobirthing, when you birth and you are hypnotized.
What? Mm-hmm. I would have had children if I knew this was an option. Hold on.
and then, but you're still conscious. You still can talk. You still can move around and stuff. But as the hypno doula is, I take you under when things get more intense. So I hypnotize you more, take you under further. You go through it. I bring you back. It's an amazing thing because the mind is awesome.
Yes.
The mind is truly, truly awesome. And you can watch videos of these women having these hypnobirths and you would have no idea that they are hypnotized. But yet they're not feeling any pain. And they're pushing out babies.
I'm always worried that I can't be hypnotized because I have this like necessity for control. And so I'm always afraid somebody's going to like dupe me, you know? So I'm always like paying attention, waiting for somebody to, you know, drop something in on me. I think
there's a level of like willingness you have to have in order to do hypnobirthing. Because I'm not a hypnobirthing doula, but there are some things where I like tell my clients like, hey, listen to this meditation, like this, like the, you know, like the ones that are out there for free and things like that. And, you know, there definitely has to be a level of mindfulness and willingness to surrender
and trust. I think too. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Like you need to trust your doula.
You
like
see those people go up on this comedy stage and get hypnotized, and you're like, "How you even trust this dude to do that? I'm not gonna let you make a fool of me."
Those are gullible people, I think.
Right.
Those are
what you were saying, Chan, about the brain being a powerful object, there is evidence to show like suggestion is enough for your brain. So if somebody was in a coma, right, and they came out of a coma and you told them that they were a pilot, that's what they were, and they like don't really remember anything, and then like you're telling them you're a pilot, their brain will like be a pilot. Like like people come out of comas knowing different languages,
right?
And shit. It's your brain is absolutely amazing. And just a quick piggyback, if you guys out there are interested, Vice just posted a story about people overdosing on LSD and living to tell the tale about it. And there's a couple of cases where there was a mental illness on some level, and that mental illness, once they were recovered from the acid trip, which was intense, a lot of like really intense bodily reaction, definitely had to be like in a hospital with IVs and stuff like that. So it's not something you want to go out and do. But like accidental overdoses, major overdoses of like 5,000, I don't know the measurement, but it's like 5,000 plus, which is a large number, where they like snorted some powder or something like that, thinking it was cocaine, and it wasn't. And then they woke up and they're like, I'm not bipolar. Like I can feel in my body the difference in my bipolar. There's one woman who was, who had Lyme disease and was addicted to pain medications. And for some time after she had overdosed, she did not have to take the pain medications. She did not have any relapses of her Lyme disease. It did eventually come back, and then she ended up managing it with both pharmaceuticals and microdoses of LSD, and then eventually just microdoses of LSD. These might be like, you know, anomalies, but the point that I'm trying to make is that the brain is absolutely off the chart. We don't even use a majority of our brain. We got this
Absolutely.
big ass brain in our head and we don't even use it. And then most of us are so fucking traumatized that, you know what I'm saying? We have to use this big portion of our brain to deal with our trauma so that we can't utilize it for these other things. I believe that we're telepathic. I believe that. I think we can talk to each other with our minds, but none of us use our minds enough, use enough of our brain to utilize enough of our brain to be able to do that effectively on a regular basis. Unless you're like really in tune with somebody. I've done it with people.
Yeah,
I'm really
I was definitely gonna say, like, I mean, and Chang, you might be able to speak to this. Like, if I have sometimes I have clients who have been like lifelong friends, like people I went to high school with, kind of like had transformational moments in life with, and like we were in that type of space, and it was just like you could kind of feel one another's energy, like what they needed. I knew whatever I needed to communicate to them, they were able to pick up on those things. But again, like as a doula in that doula space, that's a lot of kind of what our essence is. To be oh goodness, instinctual, like just be able to feel what the person might need. But definitely, like when there are people who are really like trusting and vulnerable to me, like those are definitely the people who, you know, even their births, I'm way more like emotionally attached to. Like I know there's maybe in all of my births I've had maybe like one or two incidents where like the baby comes out and I'm like crying and I'm like,
oh, I cry every birth.
But I'm not a crier. I'm not a crier.
A big fat baby.
So when it happens, it's just like, sometimes it's just like I have to like turn myself around and like get my composure and then go back, because it's a professional, you know, it's you always have to be vigilant of what's going on around you, you know, in a need to advocate or be proactive, right? Because as soon as baby comes out, then all these other things take place. So you know, but definitely I would say like those telepathic, like just like kind of communications with clients, and then just like, you know, again, like family members, maybe partners or a partner who I've been with, you know, like, or just people who I'm around quite a bit, even really good friends, like, you know, that friend that you can, you know, kind of pick up a conversation like you never stop talking, but maybe it's been a few months.
So how did you start doing the hypno doula? Is that, I'm saying that right?
Yes.
What took you down that path?
It was literally, okay, so my first doula client, she came to me. She was supposed to have a home birth, but she risked out for having a home birth. So the midwife actually contacted me and was like, I think she really needs some support. So can you help her? Sure, absolutely. Well, she's the one who told me about hypnobirthing. I had never heard of it before. First client, now I don't really know a whole lot about anything. So I looked into it and I was like, this is fascinating. So it wasn't probably until like a year later, I just came across a class, the training, and it was on sale. And I said, let's take this class and let's get this hypno doula cert and keep it pushing. But my first client was the one who brought it to my attention. And I was fascinated by it after that. I kept watching all these videos about these, you know, these hypno births. It was fascinating to me.
Yeah, if you can make it easier and like put the mind in that spot, I mean, it's going to be great. What is the difference between a doula and a midwife?
So the midwife actually catches the babies. She's a medical professional. She catches the babies. The doula supports the mom and the family while you're going through labor and delivery.
Okay.
Good to know.
All right. That's
that's what you're doing, Keisha. You're taking the certifications to do midwifery.
So what I'm actually doing, so there's a few different ways to become a midwife, because there's so many different ways to utilize that. So the process that I'm going through is the school process. So I am doing all my prerequisites for nursing school, because in order to be the type of midwife that I'm trying to be, you have to be a nurse beforehand. So
Okay.
I'm going to school to put the pieces together to be a nurse midwife. And really, there are other ways to like being a certified professional midwife, which is where you do an apprenticeship for X amount of years, and provide different levels of care in different stages to a certain number of birthing persons. And so, really, I ideally wanted to do the apprentice style. But in Missouri and in Kansas, which are the two areas that I serve in, you insurance only will pay for nurse midwives. And so, one of the things that's really big for me is there is a lot of the people who I care for now are Medicaid recipients. And so Medicaid will pay for nurse midwives. And so I want to make sure that my level of care is, something that price is not going to be a barrier for them to receive that care. So that's the real reason why I'm doing it that route instead of doing their apprenticeship and just going to school. So that way, people can, pay for my care through insurance. That's a real big piece to me. So
yeah, that's awesome.
And I actually just applied for midwifery school as well.
Yay!
But I'm doing the CPM route because I don't want to go to nursing school.
Where are you going? Who did you apply to?
The National College of Midwifery.
Okay. Oh wow.
I'm excited.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
No one really knows that either. Like it's only
exclusive announcement on the Cannabis Closet right now. We just
where are you practicing in?
I live in Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah. So
yeah, I'll make sure you guys. I connected. We have a little chat on Facebook Messenger. So definitely, I've been wanting to connect both of you for a long time. Actually, since I first met Keisha, I was like, I definitely need to get Chan in on this conversation because I knew that, and then after the first show, actually, I was like, damn, I should have called Chan to come on this show too. We were talking about using cannabis during the birth and during pregnancy, etc. And so that's what we were talking about. And what is that? Can I mute that person? Sorry, there was like a weird comment. But I've been wanting to connect you guys for a long time. I just thought this would really be interesting. So I'm so happy to hear that you're doing that because I'm and thanks for sharing it on our podcast.
Right?
I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Who's the favorite friend? Who's the favorite friend? Right now, it's me. It's me. Make sure they watch so they know.
Okay. I'll let them know.
I'm the favorite friend.
I'm excited though. I'm excited to get started.
Do you have a preceptor yet?
I do. Everything is lining up.
Oh, that is so awesome.
Exciting. I don't know what the hell a preceptor is, but
that's the midwife who's gonna teach me everything I need to know.
Oh, okay, cool. They have names. See, I'm learning some stuff.
Yep, I got it all lined up, so I'm pretty excited about everything.
Congratulations. That's so my God. That's so awesing. I'm happy for you.
Congrats. I just realized I was muted the whole time. Congratulations.
she's like congratulating you, and she's like, it's not even it's that beach life. It's that beach life.
Yeah,
I can't see either. I can't see like the microphone and whether it's on or off, and I keep forgetting whether I hit it or not.
So. You got that sun glare. Oh,
yeah.
we feel so bad for you.
Yeah.
So bad. She sent me a text this morning. She was like, I hurt my toe and it kept me up all night. And I go, yeah, in Hawaii.
I am pretty sure I broke my toe.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I don't want you to have a broken
dislocated it. Like it's not like all crooked or anything, but I definitely fucked this up.
My toes, like just to go back to a previous conversation, my toes are off limits.
Oh yeah, don't touch my feet. I'll kick you in your face.
I'll kick you straight in your throat.
No toes.
No, I have ugly feet though. I'm not comfortable with my feet.
I pay lots of money to keep my feet prime.
I'm
Yeah,
very
no. I
ticklish,
mean, but I can't
so
help
I'm
the
like,
shape of my
the
foot. You know what I'm
need to.
saying? Like I could manicure it and pedicure it, or pedicure it. It's a pedicure. I could pedicure it all day. They look better. I put tattoos on them so that I could be like, decorated. But like, it's just a
No.
thing.
I feel you.
Hey,
It's
if
okay.
I had perfect feet, do you know how many bitches would have zero chance at all in life? Like you. Listen. Also, I think that our scars and our deformation, if you will, of part, whatever, are things that make us unique, are potentially injuries from a past life that followed us here.
Maybe to humble us.
Yeah, no, I was definitely an asshole in my past life, which is why I'm struggling to be rich again. I have to do the struggle so that I'm not an asshole.
Yeah, forgive yourself. So.
I also have to forgive myself. I was also a man in my past life. I'm almost positive.
That's
So
interesting.
Got to tell your past, like, God, be in the past.
yeah, can I just take the lessons and can we move the fuck on?
And make me rich, please.
Right.
And yeah, like make me rich in the process. Absolutely. So, Chan, you went to a museum in DC, and in the very back of the fucking museum.
Yeah, the African American History Museum. And first of all, it's huge.
Okay.
It's a lot of information.
But I think you should start with birth.
I was expecting it to come a whole lot sooner than what it did, honestly. And then as we're like, we had been there for like 4 hours.
Oh my God.
It has to be here somewhere. Like,
yes,
Black midwives, it has to be here. So the last area that we went into before we're like, all right, we're done. We're walking around. I was like, oh my God, there it is. I knew it had to be here somewhere because, Black midwives are a big part of African American history.
They're a big part of all history. Are you fucking kidding me? Black midwives have been delivering babies for white people forever.
So I was
well
really
before
excited
hospitals.
Well before hospitals.
Oh yeah.
Well before.
And think about this.
Got what they do from us.
You steal a bunch of people, right? who live in a culture that have perfected cesarean sections. We just learned that they have perfected cesarean sections. I would like if we really looked at history and really, I wish we could go back and just see. I feel like a lot of our medical advancement is because of Black men and women.
Oh, absolutely.
If we weren't even washing our fucking hands.
Hello.
And you know who taught you guys that? The Moors, who were Black people.
Oh yeah.
So thank you for it's the like, history. Yes.
You know.
Okay,
and we still didn't listen. So in the back of the museum, was it a big room? Was it a like a fair a fair sharing of?
Oh yeah, it was a nice display. It was a nice area, and I took the pictures and posted the pictures and everything. But I was just really excited when I finally found it because it's important, and I knew it had to be in the museum somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's the most important. We wouldn't even be here without it. Like,
but if you have not been to the African American Museum, go to the African American Museum. It is awesome.
I have not been.
Information. It's a lot of stuff, but it is awesome.
I have information that I'm not sharing exclusively on the Cannabis Closet podcast, but there is a good chance that that I could be visiting that area for reasons that are undisclosed at this moment. So, when I do, I'll have to go over there because I never have. So,
but you have to get tickets and the thing with the tickets. You got to get them.
Get the tickets in advance.
Quick.
That's
I was able to get mine the day of. Like we was driving up there, and the ticket opened at like 9:00. So I got on the website, reserved 2 spots, and then bam, boom, we got it in there. So it's not that bad. to
That's
get
good.
tickets.
I want to say that the story about cesarean section that I shared came from your page. Why
I
did you
was
say
wondering if you got it from me because
that?
I just posted it.
I did get it from you. Okay, so this is also from your page. This is some of the pictures that you took. Maud Collin, a nurse midwife, a registered nurse and midwife, Maud Collin, 1898 to 1990, served the rural community of Pineville, South Carolina. My family hails from those areas.
Really?
So, yeah, my family's from those areas. For over 4 decades. A graduate of Florida A&M College for Negroes, now Florida A&M University. Remember, they used to separate all of us. We weren't allowed to go to the same schools. You know why I think it is too? I think that whole narrative was created because white people feel inferior. And like when you have people standing next to you that you feel inferior to or like less smart than, then you got to send them elsewhere to get their learning done.
That's true.
Callan studied nursing at Homer G. Phillips Hospital in St. Louis. And look at us all coming together in this story right here. And midwifery. Am I midwifery? Okay. At Tuskegee Institute. Again, if you don't know about the Tuskegee experiment, just a side note, go look that up and read it. It's atrocious, and it's part of our history that you should know about. In Pineville, she established medical clinics and trained lay midwives in modern techniques. In December of 1951, Life magazine did a feature on her in a photo essay by Eugene Smith. In 1951, she purchased Maud Collin, Walking Through Mud. 1951, purchased with funds provided by Philip and Edith Leonian Foundation. So they have these like little picture things here. That's what it was just describing that, I guess. And then there's a reproduction of the original print at the museum as well. You guys should definitely go visit it if you're out by DC. If you're nearby DC, I know some of y'all live on the East Coast, like in Philly and places like that. Go down to DC and check this out. African American midwives tradition and transition. Midwives traditionally occupied a prominent position in African American communities, serving as healers and spiritual leaders and maintaining extensive social networks. Even after modern medicine moved childbirth from the home to the hospital, women in southern rural communities continued to rely on midwives into the mid-1900s. Meanwhile, midwives faced increasing restrictions on how they could practice their profession, and by the 1970s, most states required them to be certified or partnered with a licensed physician. And then let me pull this one up. I just love these little facts here, and you can see all the pictures and stuff if you actually go to the museum. Go do that. And go be prepared to spend a day. Bring a snack. She said it was like 4 hours, she said, before she even found this. Like dedication to the museum and taking time in the spaces and learning like the history or reading about the history. For me, I would be learning because, and for a majority of us, I feel like we would be learning because a lot of this stuff is just not taught in schools. And it's because why? Because your grandparents don't want to see their pictures in the damn history book throwing rocks at children. That's why. Traditionally, midwifery was a profession handed down in families. So mother would pass down these skills to their daughters. And Amanda Carey Carter, who delivered babies in rural Piedmont region of Virginia from the 1950s to the 1980s, was the 4th generation midwife in her family. Her mother, Susie Carey, began her career in the 1920s during the era of midwifery. During an era when midwifery first became subject to state health regulations, and together the two women delivered hundreds of babies, black and white, over the course of 8 decades. 8 decades. That's crazy. I want to say I've seen some posts, Chan, that you've been posting here and there that your daughter is very interested in what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Is this something? Do you think that she might like get in as she gets older? Get into?
I don't know. I mean, she's very curious, and I'm
Yeah.
very open
Yes.
and honest. So she knows what I do. She knows where babies come from and all
Right.
that good stuff. So I don't know.
I mean,
We'll
she's
see.
young too. I'm just saying, but
She's
like
8.
I noticed that sometimes she's very interested in you, and I love that you're just like, this is an education. This is a moment where I can teach her about being a woman,
Yes.
about her body, about where she came from, or where we all come from.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's really amazing.
Yeah.
So it would be I can't wait. I first of all, I love watching y'all's kids grow up. I don't have any, and so I don't have to deal with the bullshit, but then I get to watch them be pretty and cute and funny and all that shit. I really love that. So thank you for having
Kids.
babies.
Thanks.
Appreciate you. I'm like, man, they're so cute. I
Yeah.
mean, your son has grown up to be such a handsome man,
Oh,
and
man, he's
I
sweet,
mean,
man.
and he's so kind, and he's like talented, and you know, I've watched him grow up over the years.
Yeah.
I've just like watched him just go from like a little dude to like, I'm gonna cry. Stop it. Okay.
Ginormous, yeah. He's awesome.
And I love I love watching all y'all's kids grow up. I mean, I watched Mina grow up too, and I mean, she's fucking gorgeous. She's an amazing young woman.
Phenomenally gorgeous.
Brilliant, beautiful. Like I love it so much. So
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what they become. And then Mary Frances Hill Coley, a midwife in Albany, Georgia, who delivered over 3,000 babies, narrated and starred in the 1952 documentary All My Babies, produced as a training tool by the Georgia Department of Health. The film demonstrated how a well-trained lay midwife could deliver a healthy baby even in the poorest conditions. The filmmaker George C. Stoney depicted Coley interacting with actual patients as well as nurses, physicians, and members of the local community. And so that's just a little bit of history about midwifery
And she never lost a mother. In all of her years of practice, she never lost a mother.
Thank you. You were talking. She was the one you
Yep,
were
I talked
mentioning the
about
other
her.
day. Yes. That's
Which is
amazing.
a feat, to say the least.
That's an amazing feat. Well, she
Black
washed her
maternal
hands.
health care right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She washed her hands.
That's a good place to start.
That was great. Yep, she washed her hands.
You know, she probably followed the instructions. She didn't take shortcuts. She didn't treat her patient as if she wasn't a human being. So she listened. She listens to her patients, or she listened to her patients as they went through this. The childbirth is traumatic, y'all. It changes a woman's body. And a lot of women are like, don't recover from the changes that happen to their body. It's very, very traumatic, and to have somebody that is there for you and that is making sure that everything is done properly and washes their hands is very important. I mean, it's just like fucking, it's not rocket science, but if it was, you should still wash your fucking hands.
Absolutely.
Right. And really, even the postpartum period too, like a lot of people, you know, really they put a large focal point on birth, but it's like that postpartum period is really, it's a really important factor too, because now you're going through all the mental withdrawals of not being pregnant. And so it's like you got to deal with all of those mental pieces, and then like deprivation of sleep, deprivation of nutrients, and then
deprivation of spouse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Did I say that? Yeah, I did.
And breastfeeding can be complicated.
It is. And it's like, we're taught, like, if we don't have children successfully, if we don't breastfeed successfully, that there's something wrong with us as like people and mothers.
Right. And I would even say to that point, like once you do have children, your children's just overall life is a depiction of your failure or your success as a parent. So if you're, you know, a new parent and you're constantly assessing, oh, my baby doesn't sleep through the night, I'm a terrible parent. Oh, my baby isn't latching on right. Oh, I'm a terrible parent. oh, my baby didn't have any poopy diapers today and I don't know what's going on. I must be a terrible parent. I've
Right.
got to be
Right.
doing something wrong. So, there's also that piece too that a lot of people again just don't take into consideration. And when you're
Mm-mm.
not mentally prepared or aware that those things, can be, just right around the corner if you're not, uh proactive, and even if you are proactive it still happens, then it can be even more difficult if you don't know to prepare yourself for something like that.
Yeah.
Right. I was just reading is it Regina King that posts about this? She's been very open. Maybe I'm might be I can see her face and her name is she's married to an MBA and she has a child that has transitioned to.
Gabrielle
Career
Union.
union.
Gabrielle Union.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. I was like, why? It's not. I knew it wasn't Regina King. I knew that. So when I said it, I was like, no, it's not her. But she's been very open about the mental health part of not being good enough as a woman. I couldn't carry a child in my womb. I couldn't breastfeed. Like these things are a depiction of me as a woman. They're not. That is human life. Like there are some women that can't breastfeed. There are some women who cannot have children. There are some, it just,
I'm adopted, so does that mean my mom's not, real,
yeah, like
like that because she
we
couldn't,
have this thing in
birth
our
a child?
minds. I decided a long time ago that I was not a parent of a human. Like I was not that. And I had discussion with my husband about it. We discussed it on many occasions. And we made a decision together about whether or not to have children. And so we are child free by choice. And we always said that if we ever did have children, we would just adopt, that we weren't going to like naturally bring a child into the world. There are a lot of children that need families and need homes. And if we ever had space for a child and time for a child and the money to care for another human being that is not us, if if all those things lined, we would adopt. That's the way we would do it. I mean, we adopt our fucking dogs. Why wouldn't we also extend, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not comparing children to dogs, but I'm saying that aren't human beings important enough to have a family, right? And
Right.
so when we talked about it, but then I had a close family member like, really, you should have one of your own first. Like, what difference is it going to make if I have one of my own first, or if I adopt first, or if I never have one of my own and only adopt, or if I never have, like, what difference does it make as far as having children for you? Like, because in my life, I'm okay with not, like, my bloodline does not need to pass on. I am not right up here. We don't need to put that in somebody else. We're good on that, I don't need that. I don't need that legacy, right? And so if I don't need that and a child needs a home and I have a place for a child in my life, that's the way I would do it, And so we had that whole discussion. But I think that women are often just like, what do you mean you don't have? Oh, you're going to regret that you didn't have children, or you should have your own children first before giving of yourself to another life that you could love equally as much. Like, I know there's a connection in birth, but some people don't get that connection for various reasons, and they're
Right.
still very connected to their children
Right.
Exactly.
Yes.
and have very great relationships. And I think that there are people in my life that I love with my whole heart and soul, and I can't imagine loving anything more, right? And people say that about having their children, and I get that. Just because I don't have children doesn't mean that I don't know what love is on that level, right?
There you go.
So,
Yep.
and just because I choose not to have my own children, so maybe I would choose adoption, then, or like a Gabrielle Union chose surrogacy, and there's different methods. So but she did talk about that mental block where she just didn't feel like she was able to connect with her child because she didn't birth her child. And I think that part of that is societal.
Oh yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
There are women who birth their children and still
still
don't
don't
feel a
connect.
bond.
Right. I mean, did
Especially
any
like
of y'all watch
C-section
Cruella?
births, like C-section births, like people really like struggle to
People
bond with their
struggle.
babies
Mhm.
because they
Y'all,
don't have that hormonal release, and so it does
wait,
take
talk about that.
longer.
Talk about that. Wait, talk about that. So there's a
So
difference when you have a cesarean section as opposed to having natural birth.
yeah, so
Did you just see
when
me just do hand gestures for that?
we did, it was a whole thing. It was a whole
I
thing,
could
like you
not.
were
Will you
giving
please
somebody an
explain what he
exam.
does?
I'll show you later.
But yeah, pretty much. So as the baby is progressing through the birth canal, and your cervix is thinning and it's dilating and it's opening up, and baby is moving and coming down and engaging, and going through that whole birthing process, your hormone levels are constantly like changing and flowing to adapt to all of those transitions in your body. And so when that C-section happens and there's really just that like low transverse cut, and the baby is delivered and the uterus is taken out, sewn up, and put back in, there is that
They would not
lag.
put it back in.
Well, it's got to go somewhere.
Yeah, it could go in the trash.
um but there is that lag, and so that's why, like, historically, when you were talking about the when C-sections were done successfully and done by African communities, where they were talking about breast milk would take longer to come in, that's because of that hormone release that says, okay, baby's no longer inside of us. Where did baby
Oh,
go? Baby had to
Right.
go somewhere. Okay, well, if baby had to go somewhere, maybe we need to go ahead and start making milk just in case baby came out and baby's alive.
right, but it takes a couple days because you didn't get that release.
It could take
That
weeks sometimes in
oh,
some
got you.
situations. And so
That's so interesting.
that's why
Human
like
body.
lactation consultants are an important resource to have,
Yes,
because
they are.
there's so many different diverse ways to go into this parenthood journey. If you're adopting and you adopt a baby, and maybe that infant is brand new, like newborn, and as a parent, that what works best for your family is maybe to have breast milk, but you're not lactating. Okay, how do you get the resources to get to a milk bank, so that way your baby can have
This is
breast milk,
this is
or
the
like,
new community child rearing, right? Because in tribal communities and communities before, like, we were like living on our own, the
yeah,
whole community would raise the baby.
yeah,
The
we'll just
like
latch baby
I'll
on.
breastfeed your
Yep.
child. I have milk coming in because I
Yep.
have a child I'm still breastfeeding,
Child,
like
yep.
whatever. um and women lactated for longer, I feel
Yeah,
like, in those communities too, because they were
the
servicing all of the
demand.
children. Yeah.
Yeah.
The demand, the normalcy, the way the society was based up to really, like, support that.
Yeah.
Nowadays, well, now we're kind of moving away from breastfeeding being as stigmatized, but
But it
when
still
I
is.
remember, it
The
still
80s, the
is.
80s was selling
It still
formula.
is. Great girl, the 50s. The
Yeah,
50s had full
Mhm.
on marketing schemes that were talking
that's
about,
true. It did start in the 50s. I feel
yeah.
like it really took hold. Like, it was like 30 years later, and it was just like the norm. You just gave
That's just
you
what it was.
right.
So, that's why, again, like, depending on how, a baby is born, that dictates, hormone levels, when breast milk comes in, all of those
Hmm.
things.
Yeah.
And we fully support here on the Cannabis Closet you whipping a tit out in public. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
let you know that right now. You do
Yep.
what you
We eat
do.
in public. We
All the
eat
Do
in
what you
time.
public.
gotta do.
Right.
All the
Yep.
time. Now,
I gotta
you
watch
are not
people
responsible
eat.
for anybody else's emotional response to what's going on in your private life. Why would anybody interject on that? You're gross.
Right.
Get away from her. And also, I don't think you need to be breastfeeding to whip a tit out in public. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, for the record, I support it at all
Live your life.
times. I support it at all times, and I support it on men, women, and otherwise non-binary people transitioning. I
Everybody.
support whipping your tit out is
Whip
my
it out.
as a matter of fact, for my birthday, I'm gonna give everybody my Cash App, and I'm also gonna request pictures of tits, men and women. I like man boobs. I think, why not? But I also feel like it's not fair that they get to show their tits and I don't get to show mine.
Me too. I
don't-
feel the same way.
And I get hot.
Why is my nipple offensive? Why is my nipple offensive when yours is hairy? I don't get none of that. Mine's
least-
prettier
at
than
least
yours.
it's cute.
That's that why it's offensive?
I
Yeah.
feel the same way. I literally feel the same way.
So, anything we want to talk about to kind of wrap up? We're right at the 2-hour mark here.
Wow, that went by quick.
It
I
went
know,
by
right?
so fast. We had so much to say. I want to bring you both back for a future show. Let's plan something in the
Shan,
near
how are you?
future.
How are you paying for midwifery school? Are you doing like any crowdfunding or anything like that?
No, I just save some money. I don't really like asking people for money.
I don't either, girl. That's why. Look,
No.
I feel like that is why I did not marry rich. I cannot.
I mean, and that's just me. People do it all the time. You know, they put up their
Yeah.
GoFundMe or whatever. And I'm like, gosh, that's a really good idea. But I'm
I
not.
know. I feel like awkward about it, right?
I do.
We talked
don't
about
like-
doing it
I
for the
don't like-
show, and it's awkward. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like asking for money, but my program is $40,000 in 12 months.
Oh, that's
So I'm really like reconsidering it. Like, I'll ask for
Here's
something.
what
How
needs to
much do I
happen.
really need this money?
Here's what needs to happen. There needs to be a cannabis friendly funded fund that only Black people can use, and you could apply for it, but cannabis should pay for that. Why should cannabis pay for that? Does anybody know the answer to that question? Because the war on drug destroyed families
Oh, love
That
it.
one. That's what I
in
was
Black
gonna say.
communities.
I love it.
And when we have Black and brown men and women doing things to serve their community, the least we could fucking do is pay for it. The least we could do. We need an OnlyFans smoking weed and showing tits. I mean, let's do it. Let's do a I guess we are in the process of making a payment in the process. Oh, if you're listening right now, try again to make that payment. We're in the process of making a payment. So I'm going to make a little tiny announcement to everybody and let you know that we are soon going to have a product release under the company name Queen Kitty. Queen Kitty is going to be releasing a CBD seltzer water, and it will be coming in the next couple months. We are in the process of paying for it now. We're just having an issue with our Venmo because Venmo's lame. But we will have that on the market, and I bring that up because Cliffany says that we need an OnlyFans smoking weed and showing tits, and I'm bringing that up because we're part of our little logo, I guess, or our little mantra is going to be. Should I share it? Can I share it?
yeah, hashtag it up, baby.
Hashtag it up. Okay, so our little hashtag / mantra is going to be pop this kitty. Let the queen quench your thirst.
Yes, I love it.
And if you know any sex workers out there who are on social media, tell them to hit me up because we would entertain, sending them maybe a little product to do a quick little sexy ad spot for us.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of let it slip a little without all those details on Monday. I was like,
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. We're ready. We're ready. We're in production process right now. Our labels are coming off of the artist's play where we have the artist. I don't know what to say about that. And so we're gonna be sending that to the label maker. It takes a couple weeks to make the labels and then slap them on the cans. And then I'll be making my way to the Midwest for a distribution pickup. Okay, so we'll figure that out, and we'll maybe, I don't know, we'll talk about it off air. But Venmo's being a bitch right now, but we're gonna get those funds over there because we got them sitting right there. So yeah, we're really excited about it. Sex sells, everybody,
Yes, it does.
and this will be the best pussy drink you ever put in your mouth. I promise you that. I'm just saying. And it's got CBD in it. So if you guys didn't know about CBD, large amounts are going to make you a little relaxed and tired and drowsy, but smaller amounts kind of give you a more energetic feel, and so can kind of get you through your day. So kind of keep that in mind when you're dosing your CBD. And CBD can also help with social anxiety in general. It can help loosen you up. It could be a very useful cannabinoid in the bedroom even. So it's not all about THC. It's about like a little bit of everything, you know. And Marnay was on here talking about terpenes on Monday.
She sure was.
That's where it's at, man. Listen, this is why I don't like sativa and indica, is because that's not accurate. But what really creates that feeling of energy is how the terpenes and the cannabinoids react together within the plant material, and then how they attach to your receptors in your body. So your body chemistry matters. What's going on in the plant matters, but all of those things matter. So you get the right terpenes in there, you're gonna have a nice energetic night or a nice relaxing night. It just depends on what you're doing.
Or both. Start
high and go low. That's where I'm at in life. Actually, I start high, and then if you continue to go low, I'm gonna meet you down there. I'm gonna beat your ass. I got no problem doing that. That just got violent for no reason.
Right.
I'll tell you off air what the reason is. So anyways, it has been lovely having all of you here today. MJ, fuck all the way off with the beach. I love you though. God, it's so fucking gorgeous. It's snowing.
Halftime.
Halftime. We're gonna go live on the island halftime. I love it.
Well, there's planes and stuff. We can work. Yeah, we can work from the island and fly to the mainland when we got to work, and then
I mean, there's possibilities. Chan, where can we find you? Is there a place where we can find you and get more information from you if somebody's looking for your services?
Yes, I have a Facebook business page. It is called Mindful Journey Doula Services. Or you can email me at chan.durden@gmail.com.
Hold on, let me write this down. Mindful, say it again.
Mindful Journey Doula Services. I'm
putting this in the messages so that you guys can look that up. That's on the Facebook machine there.
Yes.
And then Keisha, where can they find you?
Yeah, so you guys can find me on Facebook at Sacred Borders Birth Company.
Sacred Borders Birth Company. I'm gonna write that down too.
And then you can also find us online at Sacred Borders Birth Company LLC.com.
We'll follow you now.
Likewise, I will return the favor because I am so excited.
I'm so excited to connect both of you. To remind everybody, I was talking about this on TikTok earlier, and I don't know if we have any new viewers from that live stream. I do go live on TikTok right before the show to try to entice some new viewers to come on in. But if you're new here and you're not a part of our Discord, join us. Here is our Discord link. Boom, boom, and boom. It's on all three channels that we're running live on right now. If you're watching us, or listening to us after the fact and you don't have the capability to look in the comments, you can feel free to send us an email and ask for that link. We'll be happy to send it to you. CannabisCloset420@gmail.com. You can find us most of our platforms, solo.to/CannabisCloset420. I'm going to update that as soon as possible and make sure all of our platforms are available on there. We've just been really busy working on this drink project. But definitely come hang out with us in Discord. And if you didn't catch us live, or if you think a friend of yours should be listening, definitely have them hit up Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts. We're on all three of those, and we'll be posting this episode this week. So probably tomorrow, most likely, is going to post this episode and Monday's episode. Yeah, come hang out with us. The only rule in Discord is you got to be nice, because we're all humans going through it. So if you can't be nice to other humans going through it, you can't be hanging out with us. You got to sit at another table.
I heard that.
That's just what it is, man. Got to make those rules, set those boundaries.
Hey, Borders is spelled without an A.
Oh, sorry. I did spell that wrong.
I just wanted to make sure everybody was able to find me that was looking for me. It's Borders without an A, but everything else is perfect.
Sacred. Let me spell it the right way, because that was my mistake.
It's all good. It's all good. Like you said, we're all humans. We're all humans.
Yeah, I did spell that in the wrong way, like boarding up something, like you're boarding up. You board up the vagina after the baby is born. No more babies coming out of this vagina. Okay, I think I spelled it right this time. It's like you're in that movie,
I just
right?
found a piece of coral that looks like a peen.
Oh, yay! Oh, wow. Penis rock. Bring that home. Bring that home. Hey, listen, you're supposed to take a picture and leave it, but there's probably more penis rocks out there. And if there's not, that one found you.
Right.
Hey, maybe that means never mind. No, I mean, if the rock walked into your life, maybe.
Did I tell you that that's what I said? I said, okay, a couple of people have asked me, like, you gonna move here? You move in here? Like, they welcomed me home when I walked off the plane. And I was like, listen, universe, if I'm supposed to live on an island because I'm a mountain girl, then I am supposed to meet the love of my life here, and we will be able to travel back and forth between the mainland and the island.
And he better dick you down right. The love of your life does not come with whack penis. I'm telling you now.
No, whack any, like,
he comes correct, or she comes correct. If in your case, he. But I'm telling you, the love of your life comes correct.
I know. Exactly.
What's most important to you? You know where to find us. solo.to/cannabiscloset420 is where you can find us all the time. And this has been a fantastic show. I'm so happy it ran over. I knew it was going to. I was prepared. But I was so excited for this show. I'm glad we did the recap. You guys are both invited back on future shows. So let's set something up. Maybe we'll do like a recap in the summer or something like that. Talk about some stuff. Hang out for after the show. We'll chit chat for a second. And for everybody else, be nice to yourself and make sure you put your mask on before assisting others. It's important.
Yes, ma'am. Cultivate love. You deserve it.
Oh, yeah. As always, stay lifted, everybody. Get your smoke on. Oh, best show yet. What? Put that in the reviews. Tell your friends. Share, like. And when you comment and like and share, it helps boost our algorithm so more people get to see us. Yay.
Happy Black History Month.
Another successful show. Happy Black History Month. Black History Month is every month. Black history is American history and world history. Don't forget, without Black and brown individuals on this planet, we wouldn't have half the shit we have. Like,
Amen
literally.
to that.
And we wouldn't have been able to steal half the shit we stole.
Amen to that.
We love y'all. Come back and see us on Monday. Oh, we have who do we have? Oh, I don't have my calendar. We have a guest on Monday also. So I'll announce that. Who is our guest on Monday? Ooh,
I don't have my calendar.
I don't have my calendar. Oh, we'll announce it soon. We'll have a flyer out and everything. So look for it. We love you guys. We'll see you guys on Monday. Thanks for joining us, Chan. Thanks for joining us, Keisha. Hang out for just a few seconds and we'll chit chat after the show. Yay.